Hey guys, this is Jason
This is
Douglas.
Adam MacArthur, voice of Yuji Itadori.
This is Derek Snow, the voice of Shinra Kusakabe.
This is Phil Parsons, voice of Kenny the Ripper Ackerman.
It's Merc Nguyen. You're watching Voice of the Heroes. Take it away, Fleeboy.
What's good, everybody? You know who it is and what it is. And if you don't, it's the one and only one, Fleeboy Jetson. And you're watching Voice of the Heroes podcast. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And also click that notification bell so you don't miss any discussions or interviews on your favorite heroes and villains around the world. And today we're shining our spotlight on a very special guest. This is actually a part 2. Part 1 soon to come out with our guest, Jim Foronda. You might have seen him in Dragon Ball, Attack on Titan, Hell Paradise, Blue Lock, My Hero Academia, Fire Force, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Solo Leveling, Wistoria, and so much more. He's voiced hundreds of characters in his career, and he's back on the show with us. Jim, how you doing today?
Doing great. Thank you so much for having me back.
Oh, man, it's a pleasure. Now, last time we had you on the show, we talked about, you talked about and gave a lot of insight about Wistoria, your newest project at the time. Werkner, one of my favorite professors in the joint. He's more the calm, steady, I got your back kind of professor. Now, you gave us a brief rundown on the show, and immediately that weekend, I went and watched it and binged the majority of the show and ended up finishing it. And as you'll see in the community, we had a lot of the voice actors on the show after you talked about the show, which was ironic. And it's become my favorite show of the year. I'm hands down. It's so wholesome. I love it. I love the character of Will. I love the fact, he gets with a band of people who probably don't even like him. And they end up, doing the impossible and coming the task at hand that the show gives them. But for those who don't know about the show, you got to pitch them the show like you pitched me, man. Tell us a little bit about Wistoria.
Okay, so it takes place in a fantasy world where pretty much everybody in the world has some sort of magic ability. And so these two orphans, one, she's super powerful with magic, and the other, he has no magic ability whatsoever. So in this world, there's a group of magic people, wizards that protect the entire planet. They hold the sky up. I don't know what the full story about that is, because that's kind of one of like the big show's big mysteries. So she gets promoted to this directly out of school, and she becomes what's known as a Magia Vander. So Will, who's our main character, he vows that he's going to join her at the top of the tower, protecting the world and keeping the sky up. But he has no magic ability, and people look down on him because he has no magic power whatsoever. But he is determined to make it through the Regarden Magic Academy and make it to the tower. Because here's the thing: while he has no magic ability, he is unlike anybody else because he has unbelievable fighting prowess. He sees creature do like one fighting move, and it's kind of like he remembers it forever. And there are creatures that cannot be harmed by magic that only he can stop. And slowly but surely, he I don't want to spoil anything, but let's just say all those people looking down on him, him at certain points. I don't want to spoil anything, but I play Werkner Norgrim, who is a professor who actually sees the potential in Will and basically tries to help get him through school as best as he can. And the show is animated beautifully. It is amazing. It's from I think it's the director of Black Clover, but it's kind of like there seems to be I don't know how it works, but it seems like there's a higher animation budget on this show. I don't know, but everything just looks so good. The fights are beautifully choreographed, and we all kind of joke around about how good the hair looks. Everything is animated beautifully. They do these product tie-ins and stuff in Japan. I swear, if a shampoo company doesn't do a tie-in with Wistoria, I'll be shocked.
No, but I love it, and you're right. Something that you pointed out, the animation to it and the fight scenes. I think his fight scene with Julius, I believe, was one of the best fight scenes I've seen this year. I thought it was very well, you know, displayed, and the choreography was really good. The voice acting was phenomenal. When the spats between you and Phil Parsons over Will was phenomenal. It's just overall a great anime, and I'm so glad you came back because I wanted to talk more with Story with you. Now that I seen the show and I understand the characters a lot more, and my God, season 2 has to be coming. There's so much to talk about with season 2, and I believe his name is Finn, right? And what I didn't get about Finn that I caught on a little late, he's narrating the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know that unless you look at the subtitles. And I had to rewatch it. Like I sat down and rewatched the whole series. I watched it the first time, and then I watched it as a playthrough as I was going through. And I said, man, this anime is just so good. And I can't highly recommend it to everybody out there. Now let's skip past another anime that also had a finale not too long ago, My Hero Academia, and we got to see Muscular come back. That was pretty dope. The jailbreaking scene and him trying to transition over to the good side. Any chance we get to see him in the final season?
I don't know. Well, I don't think so unless they who knows? Who knows? But I will say, man, the jailbreak, they built it up. They built it up and you thought, oh, this is going to be a huge fight. It's going to be massive. And it's I mean, Muscular's been just looking forward to this. I mean, he's got this unhealthy obsession with I mean, he was already not right, but he's obsessed with fighting with Midoriya again. And then when they finally meet up, going to be this huge fight. It's going to be this knockdown, drag out fight. And then Midoriya has become so powerful. He literally just boops him down the water canal. And a part of me, when I first read it, I thought, oh man, I wanted there to be this big fight. But after thinking about it, it is this beautiful narrative because the first time they met, I mean, he almost died because Muscular was just way too powerful for him. And it was just, when Coda distracts Muscular and he just finds that strength. When he 1,000,000% him, figuratively 1,000,000, and he finds that hero that, he finally, it's that first time he really feels that he's doing it. Um, and the second time they meet, he's become so powerful and so skilled. It's not even a contest. I mean, that's what I love. Everybody was just waiting for this massive fight, and then, bam! It's like Muscular's like, you know, like a paper doll to be like, torn in half or knocked over. It's just it doesn't even have to think about it because it shows just how powerful he's become. In between, the camp arc to the yeah. It's just man, I'm proud of Muscular. I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but I based him on my junior high bully.
Oh yeah, you did tell me that, which was very, very interesting, and I thought well played out. Actually, I reran the interview from last time before you came on the show, just so I don't ask, repeated questions from the last one. And I was like, when you said that just now, it clicked. I was like, wow, that's very interesting that you did that. What made you want to go that route?
With the bully.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, a lot of the anime characters I've dubbed have been good guys or the wildly cartoonish villains, like Vanderdecken in One Piece. He's so ridiculously over the top, but Muscular, he has he's just a terrible person. I mean, he takes pleasure out of hurting people, and it's when you act or when I don't know anybody, I don't know other people's processes, but I try to find something that I can find like a touch point that I can relate to the character on, so I can kind of build the performance from that. And it's really hard to do that with somebody who's so opposite of who you are as a person. I mean, I was never the bully, I was the person being bullied. And I will say the one thing that I found in common is that Muscular, and stop me if I said this last time on the last interview, but Muscular, he feels if you say you're going to be a hero, then be a hero. Do the best that you can. And you know what? If you're not good enough, he's just going to kill you. Now, I believe you should, if you say you're going to do something, you should do the best that you can. However, if, you know, I'm not going to kill you for it, I'm going to encourage you to grow and get better. But that's the one thing that I could connect with him as a character on is, I mean, if you say you're going to do something,
Do it.
don't half-ass it. I mean, do your best, make the effort. I can relate to that. And so for tonally, how he sounds, that when he laughs, it's even weaker than before. That's the same just condescending, callous tone that I remember from my seventh grade bully. Um, just every word just has a sneer curled into it, a laugh, like an you know, every word sounds like it's laughing at you and belittling you. Um, it's it. We all have those school traumas at some point in time where somebody was making fun of you or something like that. In my case, it was weeks at a time in seventh grade. It was really bad. But I've taken that and I've turned it into something
Positive.
something that people can enjoy.
You took the negative and turned it into something positive. And I wonder if you'll ever see this and hear about that. And, because that's pretty big, man. And, the impact people have on our lives in our early years and what carries over. And it's good to see that you didn't keep that bundled inside and you used it for something positive. So, man, hats off to you. I really like that answer.
Thank you.
Now there's something that went over my head and under my nose last time we talked, and it was on your IMDb, and we talked about video games. I was like, Trap. I forgot his name. From Borderlands.
Trap. Yeah.
Right. But you also played an iconic action superstar, John Rambo in Paladins Champions of the Realm. When I seen it, I was like, holy fuck, Jim was Rambo. You gotta let me hear your Rambo. You gotta let me hear it because
Well, if memory serves, what I did is that I'm not really prepared for it right now, but I spent a lot of time listening to Sylvester Stallone simply talking. I watched the show, and a lot of times when people think Sylvester Stallone, sometimes when it comes to celebrity impressions, a lot of people go overboard and they'll be like, "Hey, Adrian, I'm Rocky Balboa," and they kind of go overboard. It's kind of performative because you're doing an impression, but an impression is different than being a sound alike. So his daughters do a podcast, and he did an entire interview with them, and I listened to his speech patterns. He has a slight sibilance, his this is this range, and I'd seen First Blood, a ton of times, and so I actually went back and I watched it again. I hadn't seen it in years, and I aimed to sound like the real Sylvester Stallone, like the real John Rambo, as opposed to doing kind of like a character of it. And I remember and it wasn't just Paladins, it was Smite and Rogue Company. Because they did a big tie-in with Lionsgate, and he was in all three of their games. Yeah,
I remember that. With Rogue Company.
And
I don't play Smite, but I played Rogue, and they did have the Rambo skin.
yeah.
So you did the voices for all three of those?
All three at different times. And I remember going in, and the director, and he said, Stallone picked you personally. I was just like, Sylvester Stallone heard my voice, because I guess because it's his voice, and he wanted, like, he had the final say as to who's going to be my sound alike. And that was just like, how when people say, "Oh wow, I was floating on cloud nine. I felt so proud of something," and when I heard that, I was just
I mean, it made my day. I'm like, I was just like, yeah. So, I mean, that was, I saw Rocky 3 in the theater when I was like 10 years old. I mean, that was just, I mean, yeah, that was kind of cool to hear that.
That was awesome, man. That was an awesome story. I'm glad I didn't skip that one. This one, I looked. I said, Rocky. He played John Rambo. Now I got a good question for you. Right? Usually,
Huh?
we've been doing like free fall who will win brawl, right? Where we put 4 of your characters in a certain predicament, and you got to tell us who gets smoked first and why, and who wins and why. The characters we chose for you was John Rambo, Muscular, Werkner, or Hoku. I believe that's how you say it, from Hell's Paradise. He looks
Oh,
like Groot, like a
yeah.
Groot character. All right, out of those 4, who's the first to lose and why, and who wins that free fall brawl?
Okay. As much as thankful as I am to Mr. Stallone for choosing me, um, taking their respective universe abilities into account, I believe John Rambo would put up a good fight, but he doesn't have any superpowers. He doesn't have super strength like Muscular. He doesn't have um he doesn't have regenerative capabilities like Hoko, and he doesn't have any magic powers like Werkner. So Rambo would be out first. Um Hoko would also be out next after that, simply because his only ability really is the his regenerative uh, powers. But the thing is the more he does that, the more he gets, injured and hurt. He eventually is going to become a 100% free and lose his humanity, whatever his humanity is left. So he would be next. So then you've got Muscular and Werkner. Now, Muscular, unlike Will, doesn't have any. He's an excellent combat. He's an excellent fighter because he's just immensely powerful and super strong. But he doesn't have any magic fighting capability like Will does. Will can actually combat magic. Muscular cannot. So ultimately, Werkner would be the winner out of those 4.
Love it, man.
I,
Let's
I go through those.
go.
As I go through those logically. It's like I can't play favorites. I have to think. Okay, let's really think about it.
And
That
Werkner is more experienced in magic because he's a professor. So,
yeah,
it's not like Muscular's going up against one of the students. He's going up against, so yeah, I like
a
that
dragon
choice.
rider.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
who's just like, oh, I'm gonna hitch a ride on a dragon. It's yeah, Werkner. He's I I've read ahead in the manga, and I there's things about Werkner that I have predictions about. It was actually uh
What's your
it
biggest
was it was
theory?
Corey. It was Corey Wilder, voice of Will. He was saying, he's like, some stuff, and I'm thinking, oh, that's interesting. I don't want to spoil anything, but I think there's more to Werkner that we're gonna find out later.
Me and Corey had a talk, right? And we was doing theories and things like that on the show. And my biggest theory, right? There's an episode, I think it's like episode 8 or 9, and it's what's the name of it? It's like out in a date, and he's, with the
With
girl and his
Rosti and
roommate.
Colette, yeah.
Yeah, and my whole thing is, in the beginning of the show, they said something like he wasn't that cool with his roommate, but then you find out he is. And then his roommate says something to the girl like, "You'll never love him as much as me, or know what it's like to love him as much as me." That got me thinking, is this a clone from the girl he's in love with? Because he said she used to, make clones of herself to tease him as a young one. So I'm thinking this is a clone of her, and she's on this date with him, or the whole time her roommate is a clone that she created to watch over him. So, that's just a theory. I haven't read the manga. I'm just an anime guy who watches dubbed anime. So, I'm still waiting, but me and Corey's like, yo, I thought the same thing. And, there's some stuff in the manga, but I'm not going, spoil it for you. So I have, and when I start thinking like that, that's when I'm really into a show. Because if I'm not into a show, I'm not doing theories or predictions of what's gonna happen or things like that. I'm too lazy for the mangas. So, but I'm excited for that show to come back. I'm telling you. Now, out of all the anime shows you've been a part of, which one would you like to see turned into a live action? We already seen some video games you was a part of turn into live action and talked
Yeah.
to them in excuse me, and talked about them in part 1 of this interview. If y'all didn't see that, go check that out. What would be a live action you would like to see turned into an anime?
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh.
anime turned into a
Anime
live
turned into a
action.
live action. Oh my gosh. Oh, that is a tough one. That's hard. Oh golly.
Because you've been in a lot of good ones.
And there's so many stories that could be, I mean, really good live action. Like if done well, really great live action. Okay, let me think. I'll think uh, out of recent stuff. Oh,
What was that show I meant to ask you too? You said was really wholesome, really
Come,
like
Kimono Friends.
Kimono Friends.
Kimono Friends, yeah.
I got to get to
It's
that one next.
I mean it's super wholesome. It is like it comes across as cloyingly sweet, but it's I don't know. I really it was really nice. Um but I on the flip side, a show that I really enjoyed that I think if done well would be amazing in live action would be Hell's Paradise. Uh it's
Mm.
it's already
When's
run its
season 2
course.
coming out?
It's season two is in the works. I keep waiting for it. It's we've had a couple season two announcements. Apothecary Diaries is coming back in January. The 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You. Is that five reallys? I always lose count because there's so many.
Yeah,
That's
it's
coming
about
back.
5 release.
Yeah, that's shoot, was it March or Feb? I can't remember. But that's coming back as well. Um, Still waiting on season two for Trapped in a Dating Sim. But
Mm.
oh no, wait a minute. Now, Trapped in a Dating Sim, I would love to see that live action. That that would be oh, see, you can't. Oh gosh, that's such a hard question. That is such a hard question. Come on. Oh man, this I will say, a favorite show of mine that's like a an everyday no fantasy element to it is if my favorite pop idol made it to the Budokan, I would die. That actually did really well in Japan. The anime did, and so we were hoping the manga's still going on. Maybe we'll get a season two. And
Mm.
so there was some stirring in production. And oh, is our season two coming? No, they did a live action TV show, and they actually did a movie based on it as well, like a to wrap up the TV show. And it's what's so funny is that it's so close to the comic. Um, on a trip to Japan, my wife and I actually bought the live action series on Blu-ray. I'm so familiar with the manga story and the anime story that I don't even need to know the language or have subtitles to know what's going on in the show because it's like you
Mm.
kind of like all up in here. So that's one thing I've been in that got live action. One Piece technically as well, but oh gosh, yeah, Hell's Paradise would be really really cool. Like I can imagine Hell's Paradise, big budget, John Carpenter directing because John
Oh, that
Carpenter,
would be,
he did the thing. He could do body horror really really well.
yeah, that would definitely have to be a
Yeah.
horror type. I love it. I love it. All right, what are you watching right now and would recommend? What's on your watch list and what would you recommend to the audience?
Oh gosh. What am I watching right now?
Yeah.
Actually, I just started Gundam Requiem for Vengeance, which is the CG animated Gundam show on Netflix right now.
Yeah, it just came out too, right?
Yeah, it's interesting because it's I found out that it's actually done all in Unreal Engine. Um, so the human animation,
it's okay. But the actual anything mech or like vehicle related, I'm sorry, did I say mech? I meant anything mobile suit related. That's a thing I learned working on Gundam Breaker. Uh, in Gundam, they're not mechs, they're not robots, they're mobile suits. So it's like calling a
Mm.
tank a mech. You don't call a tank a mech, it's a tank. So Gundam and Zaku, they're mobile suits. So it's getting very technical there. But
Nah, but the
I'm
Gundam fans, they like, hey man, it's not a mech.
yeah,
It's this mobile suit.
yeah. Um it's the animation, the actual the combat, the mobile suit combat in that is it's interesting because it's got a very everything has like a weight to it that you don't see in the 2D animation. Like because the Gundam anime, I mean, they look great, but because this is in rendered in 3D, there's something a bit more physical to it in a sense because um the fights are, I mean, they're mapped out in three. It'd be kind of cool if do you remember when they had that Matrix app that came out on the PlayStation and the PC,
Yeah.
and you could go flying around like the city in the Matrix. I would love it if there was an Unreal demo that had one of those fights from Requiem for Vengeance, but if you could like freely move the camera around or like see it from see it from any perspective you wanted to do, because that'd be like super awesome. And also the entire time I'm watching that show, because it's done in a game engine. I can only imagine when games will look like that in real time. Uh,
Games are
if you had a
already looking like
yeah,
feature length movies.
yeah.
Like,
Um, you had a computer fast enough, you could play a game that looks like the show.
are there any upcoming or ongoing anime series you would like to be a part of?
Oh my gosh. I mean, there are a lot. Um, I will say there's a series that has not gotten a dub, and it's one of those really kind of slapstick Japanese comedy series. Um, it's me and Roboco. And there's this famous Japanese comedian that plays it takes place in a world where everybody has like household androids that help, robots. And there's this young boy, all of his friends have really, really pretty made robots that help out around the house. And they kind of
Mhm.
make fun of him because his family, they haven't purchased one. So he finally convinces his parents, hey, can we get a maid robot to help out around the house? And so they get one, and um, Roboco is voiced by a very very popular Japanese comedian, if I understand correctly, and she's she's not dainty by any means. She's extraordinarily strong. And the funniest joke is they refer to the fact that she has Nappa knees, and her knees are literally illustrated like Nappas from Dragon Ball. She's and it's kind of funny because it's one of those wacky Japanese comedies, but Roboco would be a fun role to play simply because it is so out there.
Oh,
And it's one of
speaking
those shows
of
that doesn't have a dub yet, so it's like if it
speaking
ever
of
got one, I'd like to
rogue,
throw my hat into the ring.
let me ask you something because you watch a lot of animation with your wife, right?
So my wife likes, she likes, I think she loves Shinkai movies, 5 centimeters per second, Voices of a Distant Star, Your Name, Suzume. She really likes Suzume as well.
Mhm.
Actually, we went to go see Look Back in the theater a few weeks ago, and she liked that as well. I think she likes her anime to be kind of like self-contained, you know. Um, something I don't know. I'm trying to think of shows that she loved Gunslinger Girl. She liked Soccer Quest. Um, I'm she says she's going to start watching Blue Lock, but we'll see.
There's animated movies, right? There's an animated movie out
Yeah,
right now. I think y'all both would enjoy if you watch it because you say you like wholesome stuff. It's called Wild Robot.
I saw the preview for that. We both want to see it.
Yeah,
It's already streaming. So,
it's it's a good one. I sat down with my kids and watched it, and I couldn't believe how good it was. it gets a little tear jerky, but man, it's definitely a great sit down with the family. I definitely do appreciate you for coming back and joining us on the show. And Jim, man, you got me to watch Wistoria. So chat, when I tell you, if you haven't seen Wistoria, Wand and Sword, please go check it out. It's on Crunchyroll right now on for dubbed and subbed. Please check it out. And one more time for Jim Foronda for joining us here today on the show. Love yourself, pass that love on, and love others. Jim, let them know where they can find you at on social media.
You could find me on Twitter or X under Jim Foronda. I am also on Blue Sky under Jim Foronda, and you could find me on Instagram under Jim Foronda, which I kind of hardly use, but I'm also there. Real quick, I want to do two call outs. Cast and Wistoria, who play, the other faculty, but the students, the people who are dubbing the students, um, they are really good. There's a part where there's it gets kind of funny and there's some wacky stuff, but man, when we hit episode 11, okay, one quote, it's not something that my character said, but it is from the show Kimono Friends. We talked about it. It's that when the main character, or one of the two main characters, she feels she's not really of value. She can't see the value in herself, or she's not really good at anything she feels. But her friend Serval says, different friends are good at different things. We just need to find out what you're good at. And it's a nice thing to live by. If sometimes you can get down on yourself for stuff, but you know what? Everybody's good at something. And sometimes, you just keep working at it, you'll get better at whatever it is that you want to do. So there you go.
Thank you so much for coming on the show, Jim, man. Can't wait to see you again in the future. Definitely for season 2 of Wistoria, Wand and Sword, man. Y'all check it out. And also don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on the video. Check out part 1 of Jim Foronda. You can see it here on the channel, or you can go to President Rose and see the live stream of it right now. It's about at 8K, something like that, man. Go check it out. Go like, comment, and subscribe. And definitely stay here locked in for more interviews on your favorite voice actors around the world. Jim, thank you so much for coming on.
Sing it with me.